Welcome back to the virtual open week, day 4. I'm so stoked that you are here. How are you finding the week? Have you been enjoying it? What's your biggest takeaway so far? Let me know in the chat group. I'm going to have the chat open all day today because I want to know what you want to ask real life primalistas. So these are women who were once in your shoes. They were watching the webinars. They were coming to open weeks like this. They were booking their calls. They were thinking about it. They were stalking 2 years, 4 years. Manda Palmer, I'm looking at you. And now they're here and they're doing it. And you've heard about their businesses. We're going to talk a little bit more about their businesses as well today. Find out a bit about their story and how they did it. But I want you to just, any questions that you've got, I've got a list of questions that have come through already from this week. But we'll just kind of free flow with whatever you want to talk about as well. So don't hold back. Don't be shy. So there we go. All right. So how did you go with your council homework? Who did the council homework? Let me know in the chat. And did anybody, oh, there we go. Mercury in retrograde again. Did anyone do any customer homework? Did you put it on Facebook and say, hey, I'm thinking of making some products like this. Would you be interested? Did you speak to your favorite chick at the local health food shop? Did you do anything like that? What did they say? I want to know if you were brave enough to do that. So today's lineup is, I'm soon going to turn off the slides. We're going to go to a full screen of beautiful faces. So if you don't want to be seen, you can turn off your vid. That's not you though, Primalisters. You have to keep your video on. And I'm excited. And you get to ask your questions in the chat and I will ask the questions to the Primalistas. And we want to invite you to book a call. So we are the Primal Alternative Calls team, aka the dream team, because it's such a bunch of cool women. And it was so exciting. Last night we had so many calls booked yesterday evening, which is so exciting. And it's such a brilliant time to get on board because the Primalista Mentor program starts 3 weeks yesterday. So it's brand new and you're going to be held and have your hand held by experienced Primalistas in the first 6 weeks of setting up your business. How cool is that? So book a call, primalalternative.com/call. And on the call, we will do all the due diligence with you. We'll check out stockists in your area, make sure that, what you're looking for is doable with Primal Alternative and that you're a good fit for Primal Alternative. And on the call, we'll reveal how you can save up to $1,500 on your Primalista membership. How cool is that? I'm also going to have a door prize again today. So exciting. Who was it? Was it Julianne? Yours got delivered yesterday. Did you get it? By Primalista Fran. Primalista Fran's just had a baby. Oh, Primalista Fran and a baby. First baby, so cute. And I said, wow, you're already back baking. But she was doing some cookies for her own stash. And she had some granolas already made. So it was quite easy for her to do your order. So how did you like it? Let me know. All right. All right. So let's go away from here. So I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, look, there's all your pretty faces. I love seeing your faces. This is wonderful. All right. Good morning, all you beautiful faces. So I think what we'll do is we're going to start with you, Manda, because this is your first Primalista panel. We've all got our aprons on. Look. Shows your apron skills. Woo! So let's just start with a little intro. Amanda, tell us a bit about you.
Well, I'm from the UK, from the other side of the Pennines, from Helen, hence another accent for you all to get used to. Moved here in 2007, and in 2014, after a change of relationship, let's say, and a fair amount of debt, I met Sam, who's my partner now, and we fell pregnant very quickly and have Mikey, which cracks Helen up because it's the other way around in her family. She's got a Mike and a Sam. I moved down to the Gold Coast. When Mikey was a small baby, I saw Primal Alternative on Facebook or through, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it and I thought, wow, that looks so good. But I had a lot of debt and I was not back at work full time. And I just didn't know, you know, that time and money thing. Helen, you'll be rolling your eyes. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the money. I know, like, great excuses. Anyway, fast forward through a lot of personal development and a lot of debt reduction. And the time felt right at the end of 2021. And I jumped in and gave up my full-time job to do part-time. That was part of the self-development, was like letting go of some of that and then just stepping into this whole new world, which, wow, it's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Whole new family. So council application, super, super easy. Blew me away how quick it happened. And then I was ready to start baking and I sold my first product on New Year's Eve to a girlfriend at a party. So good, so good. And then, yeah, it's been a roller coaster 6 months from there. Amazing. I've got 3 stockists and I bake for another Primalista who's local to me. So she's like 10 minutes drive away. And she has a number of established stockists, can't say that. And when she's super busy with work, she has me look after them for her. So that's a beauty. I know some of you have got questions around having so many people in an area, and Helen covered that beautifully yesterday about the saturation point and that we're nowhere near it. The beauty of having somebody close is that you can share stuff, resources, orders, everything. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Oh, I just want a note here that, yeah, the last 6 months, lots more personal development, lots of growth, fun and friendship. That's my takeaway.
That sounds awesome. That's a great intro. Thank you, Manda. Let's go to Ash. Let's have Ash, an intro from Ash in Queensland as well.
Hello. Can you hear me properly? I always have trouble. Yeah, you can. Good.
At least you've got your mic on. That's a good start.
Yeah. Well, my name's Ash. I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. Live here with my partner, and we've got 2 little girls who are 4 and 7. I've sort of followed Primal Alternative for quite a while, and I've always sort of struggled with tummy issues. So I've always been trying different things and yeah, sort of followed Primal Alternative, stalked it, read over the business side of things multiple times, chatted with my partner about it, you know, over and over again. And then, yeah, sort of booked a call and decided to jump in and do something for myself. So I really wanted to be available for my kids because they're so young. I wanted to be, you know, work around them, have them at home, and then be available for school, you know, all the things. So, pardon me, yeah, just be available for them, do something that I actually love doing, which, you know, involves whole food, being in the kitchen. I always end up in the kitchen, even on my days off. I always find myself there. So, you know, it's sort of my place that I love being. So yeah, jumped in and here we are. So love it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ash. That's a great intro.
Right.
Let's hear from Rosie in WA.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm Rosemary. I live in a southern suburb of Perth. I've been with Primal Alternative for about 4.5 years. I live with my partner of about 14 years and our little boy who's just turned 6. I saw Primal Alternative pop up on a Facebook ad when I was on maternity leave. I'd been on maternity leave already for about 1.5 years, and I really didn't want to go back to my other job. I was, had been feeling really disillusioned with it. I'd really been struggling with fatigue. And I'd been making some dietary changes. I was really interested in the nutritional aspect of my health issues. I wasn't really getting much help from my regular GP. I was basically exhausted and I couldn't face going back to my job. I was feeling burnt out and disillusioned, and I did not know what I was going to do. I just knew that I did not want to go back to my job. And then this ad popped up, and I read it, and I read, you know, Helen's little website. Back then it was quite a small website, and only a few products. And I read it, and I said, I can do that. That's what I can do. That I can make that work. So I booked a call with Helen pretty much straight away, and don't even think I let her finish her spiel. And I was like, no, I'm doing it. Sign me up. And I jumped in, and I, you know, hit the ground running, ran around and got a whole bunch of stockists, and yeah, and that's me. I've been doing that ever since, really.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that intro. That's so funny. Didn't even let Helen finish her spiel. All right. I'm just going to pin the panel. All right. So you should be able to see the chicks in aprons. Here we are in our aprons. And I'm just going to smash through the questions. We're just going to do like kind of rapid fire. We'll see where it goes. If you have got any that we don't cover, let me know. All right. So, and just Primalistas, if you want to answer it, just put your hand up like that, and then we'll go to you. Okay. So the first question I've got is, do you need to change people's thinking to buy the products? Go, Rosie.
No, you don't need to change people's thinking. There's lots and lots of people out there who already think the way that we think and who believe in our products. Yeah, they're our customer base. They're the people that will buy from us. You don't need to invest time and energy in worrying about changing someone's mind about whether they believe in grain-free lifestyle or not.
Perfect. All right. How big does your oven have to be? Ash?
Let me answer that one. Just your regular domestic oven. I've just got, you know, your regular standard 600 oven, and you can fit 12 loaves in and bang them out pretty quickly. So just, yeah, nothing fancy, nothing huge, just your normal home oven is completely fine.
And what about, you know, in terms of like for council, do you have to have stainless steel bench tops and turn your kitchen into a commercial kitchen to do this?
No, you don't. You just have to, you know, have bench space to work off. But then, yeah, it's, you know, clean, tidy kitchen is sort of what they're looking for. So yeah, nothing fancy that you would sort of see in a commercial kitchen space at all. Brilliant.
Okay. And then what about in terms of space, Manda? Like, you know, like I always say, you only really need 1.2 meters of bench space for your mixer, and then like your bags that you're coming in, and then your tins, they go into the oven. Would you agree with that, or is that just a ridiculous notion?
No, I completely agree. I've got the luxury of a decent sized kitchen, but it's got a lot of stuff in it. And when you said 1.2, I was like, I'm going to check that out. And that's about the space that I've got between the end of my bench, which has got the water tower on it, and the sink. I put my tins that I'm waiting to put into the oven on top of the oven. So I use that hub space as like a bit of an additional space. And quite often, and I didn't know it was okay until yesterday, I've been cooling things on my dining table. And I've often thought, I wonder if I should be doing this, but it's right next to my kitchen. It's in the same room. It's as clean and tidy as my kitchen. So why not? I just make sure that the boys aren't there eating when I'm working.
Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, absolutely. Don't need lots of space at all.
And even Primalistas who've been really short on space, we've had one Primalista like had a husband who did this like handy thing where he bought this like door and he strapped it to the wall, and then when she was baking she would lower down this door and cool things. I mean, that's a bit high tech, right? But the point is that there's lots of options. You could put in a trestle table if you needed that extra space just for that event, and then fold it down and put it away. But most of the kitchens that you've got are going to be totally fine, so that's good. So here's a
little trolley from Bunnings, a little trolley thing. And
Brilliant.
It's got my ingredients underneath, and that's where I cool as well, just at the end of the kitchen.
Perfect.
Easy.
Very nice. Okay, so here's a good mindset one. I feel like, so this is a thing that's been posted in the group this week. I feel one of my things that I'm worried about is I feel that I can't do it and I'm going to be a failure. Have you experienced that feeling? Who wants to answer that?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, in that first month, I got quite a few orders, and then the second month started off really slow, and it was like, oh no, I did have that feeling of people aren't going to repeat buy, like, why have they not ordered again straight away? Maybe it wasn't good enough and all that kind of thing. And all I had to do was ask, and they ordered. Okay. And I found that time and time again, like, just ask the question, how did you enjoy, what did you put on your pizza? You know, and then people will tell you how great it is. And you realize that not hearing from people isn't because they don't love you anymore. It's just that you haven't asked the question. So that's my take on that feeling like a failure thing. Yeah, just ask.
Have you got something to add to that, Rosie?
Yeah, it's normal to be scared. Like you're starting a business, you're running a business, and you're putting yourself out there. You're putting out something that you've created in your own kitchen, and it's normal to be worried about how people are gonna take it. And yeah, like exactly like Manda said, you ask the question, you ask people how do you like it, and you will get feedback, and you'll get through those times of feeling like you're worried you're going to fail. I, even occasionally still have a slow month, and I'm like, oh, are things slowing down? And then, the next week I'm insanely busy, and I'm like, no, I'm not slowing down.
What about you, Ash?
Yeah, definitely same as the other ladies. Like definitely those feelings, they sort of ebb and flow, and the beauty of this business is that we have a community to talk to as well. So when you are feeling like, something's not quite right, you can just ask the question, like the other lady said, and you've got other women that have been through it, just to help and support and all of that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, and also all the resources that come with the business. There's always tips and tricks and, that Helen's put together. So yeah, all of that, it helps a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like I feel it too. Like I don't think it ever goes away. Just that, like that you think, it's that what DeMartini says, the support and growth. Growth comes on that verge of support and challenge. And that when you kind of puff yourself up, oh, I've had a great month, yeah, I'm killing it, everything's going great, it's just like you have to be kind of puffed back down again, otherwise you just get too big-headed. And then when you just start to think, oh, you're a bit more humble and I'm not sure how it's going to go, that sort of feeling can really kind of be the fuel to get you to take some action, right? To send, it's been a bit quiet, I'm going to fire off a few texts, suddenly I'm busy again, so it's normal. And it's the same in everything, right? You're like, my marriage is great, my husband's a dickhead, my kids are amazing, they're not doing very well in this area. I mean, it's just how it is, right? That's just life, and the beauty and the ebbs and flows of it, which is so good. So now I'm moving on to a kind of accounting question, but a simple one, which is good because none of us are accountants. What do you do for your income? Do you have a separate bank account for that money coming in, or do you mix it all together? Have you got any tips on that?
Yeah, I can go.
Go for it.
I've banked with ING for my business account, but it's not a business account, it's just in my name. And within that, you can set up different little accounts within the account. So it's easy to transfer money over. So I've kind of got like my main, this is the money coming in for Primal Alternative. And that's where I pay my bills from. But then when I realize that there's a couple of $1,000s in there, it's like, oh, wait, I'm going to take that out of there and put it into the savings component. And then that's kind of going towards tax and, membership and bills that are going to come in, like when a food order comes in and spare in there to pay. So yeah, just one account, keep it separate to your home account, just for ease of accounting. I haven't even got a credit card with it. I just yeah, I just do it all from the account. So
Cool. What about you, Rosie?
Yeah, I never set up a separate business account. You can, and it probably works really well for other people. I just never did it, and I've never had to do it. Yeah.
Cool. Ash?
Yeah, I didn't set up a separate account either. We have a family trust, so everything sort of gets paid into there. And then I just had two little accounts that I've opened previous to this business. So what I do is I take out the tax and put it into there, and then take out business expenses and put it into the other one. And then the savings just stay in our main account. So yeah, that's how it works for us.
Sounds good. I can see there's quite a few barefoot investors who were there all of our when I upgraded to my account, he was like, why have you got so many accounts? What does this all mean? Blow and grow and so daily expenses. but yeah, ING, I know when everyone is another barefoot investor, that's hilarious. But the key thing is the kind of key thing that you can do whatever you want. There's no do it to suit your banking habits and behaviors. But the key thing is don't think, I need to set up another bank account. I can't do this business because I don't have another bank account. Mm-hmm. Like, don't do that. And so many Primalistas join and, they start paying their monthly membership through their personal account. And then when they set up their bank account, they transfer it. It's so easy for us to just change that. It's like, so don't let that hold you back. And also something quite interesting coming up, if you're thinking of getting on board soon, is in October, we've got a special guest speaker, and I'm so excited, from Profit First. I don't know if you've heard of Profit First, but if you've heard of the Barefoot Investor, Profit First is kind of a percentages thing for business. So it shows us, because it can be so overwhelming sometimes, when we're going to put enough away for other ingredients and tax, and how do I pay myself? And some people don't even pay themselves. Like, we've got an awesome Primalista in South Australia. She's an ex-nurse, and she says, in 2 years, I've never paid myself because I don't know how to do it. I'm so scared. Like, that's not good, right? So she's very excited about this event. So the girl who's teaching it she's a low tox live. She's qualified low tox live specialist. She's got a really lot of experience in the wellness space, and she knows a lot about Profit First as well. So she's going to come in and do a big masterclass for us in October. So that's something that you don't want to miss. All right, let's get into some kind of like, the current climate kind of questions. So since the last 2.5-3 years have been interesting, to say the least, with war and inflation and pandemics and all sorts of things going on, right? So let's start with COVID. So Rosie, probably a good question for you. You joined pre-COVID, you've worked through COVID, now we're post-COVID. How has your business fared during that bumpy ride?
Look, honestly, there hasn't been a massive change in sales. People seem to still be buying healthy foods, of course. People seem to be still interested in their, even more so really, in their health and well-being. And I guess they like also that they can be assured that they'll be able to get something, the times when there was no food on the shelves in the supermarkets, they could still order from me. Yeah, honestly, I've looked over my figures and I can't see any massive changes. Like, there's minor changes month to month, but that's just normal. Like, it's just normal seasonal variation. Honestly, nothing major. I think looking at the end of the financial year for for each of my years, I've grown each year. So.
Well done. Awesome. What about you, Ash? You joined smack bang in the middle of COVID.
I did. Joined in January, and then COVID hit March. So, but to be honest, I didn't expect anything to sort of be different, because I didn't, know previously. So I just sort of grew it, and it's grown ever since. So I haven't seen a period where I haven't had any growth or anything like that. So it's been, just like taking off like a normal business, I guess. Yeah.
So good. That's so good. So what about now? I mean, Rosie touched on supply chain issues. I mean, most of the supply chain issues that I've seen seem to be of junk food coming from factories over east, because we're in Western Australia. Rosie and I are in Western Australia. But what have you found in terms of the ingredients for Primalistas, you know, like our almond meals, our zucchini, our eggs? What's the supply been like for that? And has there been much price increase on ingredients?
I've just had a brilliant find with the eggs. So our local supermarkets are restricting us to 2 dozen eggs, which is not a lot.
And you need more than that as a Primalista.
I know. And my local Woolies, like, I've been going in after work and the shelves have been empty, and it's like, okay, let me find a solution to this. So I went down to the fruit and veg shop, and actually my partner went down to get them, and he got however many, and they were a little bit more expensive, but they were beautiful eggs. And then I went in yesterday to get, and I just said to him, look, can I get I need 15 dozen. Can I get a box? And he's like, yeah, sure. $70, works out at $4.66 a dozen.
That's so good.
Which is cheaper than what I was paying in Woolies.
Brilliant.
A local egg that, do you know what I mean? So it's just about being resourceful.
And shopping local. Yeah.
And shopping local, helping the small people, because that's what we are, right? I mean, it hurts me every time I go in Woolies and give them my money. It's like, I shouldn't be doing it, but convenience and all of that. So yeah,
excellent.
We have a solution for eggs.
That's right. And it's fun, right? Getting out and meeting other local suppliers and producers, and yeah, it's nice. How about you, Rosie? Have you found the supply chain for your ingredients?
I've only had very, very minor issues that I've been able to resolve quickly. Nothing major. The price of eggs has gone up a little bit, but I've been shopping in Aldi for my eggs lately, and because that's just the closest, most convenient to me, and they don't have a limit on their eggs like Woolworths and Coles do, and they haven't gone up as far as I remember. Yeah, nothing major. And the price of almond meal, which is probably one of the, it's a staple ingredient that you need, that you need to buy regularly, that has not gone up at all.
I found it's gone down it's gone down $5 a kilo, gone down like from 8 years ago when I started doing it. It's gone down in price. So brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a few weeks of the year that zucchinis are hard to get, but that's a seasonal thing. It's not because of more a supply chain issue other than the season.
Yeah, and if you wanted to, if you were like, well, I don't feel like there's enough of a profit margin in making this with zucchinis at this price, you could just not have those products available at that time. I mean, they are in very popular breads, like the low carb loaf or X fat and seedy bread and the no-nut hemp bread. What else are they in? I always forget the other one. Zucchini loaf.
Zucchini bread.
Oh yeah, no-nut hemp bread. You can tell I haven't been in the kitchen for a while. This is just for show. But so you can do that if you want to. What about, speaking of zucchinis, Ash, you had a bit of a zucchini crisis on the Sunshine Coast. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we did. With all the flooding that happened, I think early this year, zucchinis were very hard to come by, and I was sort of buying 10-kilo boxes, every week and a half. But the luxury of those, the luxury for me was I was getting them at like $2 a kilo, which I thought was normal, and then they were they bumped up to about $6 or $7 a kilo, and that lasted maybe a month or so. But I hunted around as well, gave a few different fruit and veg shops a call, and ended up finding them cheaper. So yeah, it's just about being resourceful, as Manda said. Just calling around and seeing if you can find a better deal.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Okay. All right. So I think that is it kind of on current situations, like whatever is going on in the world, people still need to eat, and they still are going to, just because, there might be a war in Taiwan doesn't mean that we're going to go back to eating Weet Bix for breakfast, right? Or Helga's bread. We just can't. We can't go back there because it would make us too ill. So I think there's lots of, like what I see and from speaking to people on calls is people are making cutbacks in other areas of their lives, but not when it comes to food. And really our customers are people who value real food. Like it's, when I was doing the Steiner school markets, I'd have single mums on Centrelink, but they were sending their kids to Steiner school. They were buying organic red wine and Primal Alternative pizza bases for a Friday night, just because that's what they valued. And they scrimped on everything else, jumpers with holes in and stuff, which is fine because just based on your values. So let's talk a little bit more about the business side of things. So what if you're not a pushy person and you lack a bit of confidence? Can you still do this?
I'd like to answer that.
Go for it, Rosie.
So I'm not a pushy person. I'm quite reserved. I felt a passion for Primal Alternative, so I felt like I really wanted to go out and make it work. So I felt really motivated to go and talk to stockists and go to farmers markets. But I did worry about being able to form a connection with my stockists and a connection with my customers. But I still did it and made it work. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, that was brilliant. What about you, Ash? Are you a really pushy person that's bursting with confidence?
No, like the complete opposite, really. That was definitely one of my concerns at the start was, making that first, touching base with the stockists that you want to supply or, getting customers and all of that sort of thing. So, I butterflies in my belly, making that first call, prepped it in my head a few times and all of that. So, it's just sort of taking the first step, I guess. And once you make that first call, once you talk to the first stockist or customer, your nerves sort of settle and then you just keep doing it. So one foot in front of the other, it is nerve-wracking and, I'm not pushy and I'm not confident in that area. So just sort of, just do it. Push the nerves back.
What do you recommend?
Well, it does prepare. So I always prepared myself a little script for stockists so that I would, and practiced it a little bit beforehand, and I found that was really helpful.
That's a good tip.
Just to help with that.
That's a good tip. Go for it, Manda.
Yeah, look, I'm the same, and I think we attract like. I always say, gosh, our customers are so beautiful, and it's like, well, why wouldn't they be? Because they like what we like and they have the same values. So once I realized that, and that likely the people that we're talking to are also introverts or a little bit nervous or, aren't big on the stage and that kind of thing, it's like, well, they're probably equally concerned about whether they've got, a bit of poppy seed between their teeth or whatever it is, all the things that we freak out about. But they're the same. We're just human. Like, let's just show up in our complete humanness and not worry about what other people think. Like, if we believe this is the best thing for our health, that we've got something to offer to people, even though your voice might wobble a little bit, like, just believe it to be true and just go out there and do what you were meant to do, because that's who we are. And without growth, we die. It's like, we've just got to get it done. So yeah, it's uncomfortable. I don't drink alcohol anymore. If I did, I'm sure I'd be like tempted to have a little nip before I went out. Just put on your big girl shoes, go out with a smile. They're just human.
Beautiful.
And it does really help as well to have, you always know that you've got the backing of this, like the other Primalistas, and Helen does, you can feel that she wants your business to thrive. She's always sort of got you back.
Yeah, nice. And we used to say, didn't we, like #Primalista Power, when you walk in, you're putting your hand on the handle to walk into that health food shop, that you're not on your own. You're like, we're all behind you, which is nice to know. And it's also really nice to know that everyone poos their pants. Like, it's just human nature, because nobody wants to be rejected. That's just as basic as that. And, you know, it might be interesting to know that every time I'm about to do a call, I have butterfly, you know, to do a Primalista call and ring someone who's interested in the business, I have butterflies. And before I do events like this, I have butterflies. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, that was brilliant. I'm so exhausted, because it's emotionally quite draining, you know. And something I wanted to talk about, actually, I was going to talk about it at the beginning, but I forgot. But it's really important to like work to your energy. So it might be different times of the month. So, you know, if you're still cycling, the middle period of the month during ovulation is a time when we're so much more better communicators. We're so much more outward and confident and pushy, you know, than we are perhaps when we're about to bleed. So it can be really good to just kind of notice your natural energy, and you think, oh, I feel in the mood to walk in and to this stockist and approach them, then to go with that. And also noticing your energy cycles, because we're different to men, I think, in that men, you can kind of point them, you know, I know with my husband anyway, like go to work for 10 hours and work or whatever, and he'll go, okay, and he's happy to do that every single day. But we're different. Some days you feel really sociable, and other days you just need to lie down in a dark room, right? And so I think it's really important to, when you're scheduling your week and scheduling when you're doing your markets or going out to approach stockists, schedule that in around your naturally more energetic social days. So like, for example, for me, Tuesdays and Fridays have always been on stage days. I'm like, well, I'm really social. I want to do webinars. I want to do calls. I want to be social and see my friends. But then Mondays and Thursdays, I don't want to talk to anyone, right? So the girls will see in our call schedule, I never have time on a Monday and Thursday, because I'm an ambivert. So like half of the time I'm really extrovert, and the rest of the time I'm really introvert. And that's how I am. And instead of trying to push against that and think, what's wrong with me? It's really nice to like schedule your week in accordance with those patterns, apart from if you're doing a virtual open week. But I will be having a lie down after this, just so you know, so don't worry about me. So that's good. All right. So a couple of quick fire ones for you now. How are website referrals managed? So say if somebody comes across and they say, you know, they send an email, I want to stock your product in my shop. How does that work? Who's going to go with that one? Ash.
Yeah, I can answer that one. So that comes through the main Primal Alternative website, and then H puts it in our Primalista group or our each state groups, so whichever state it came across, and then it just goes to the local or the localist Primalista that is nearest. So just to get in contact with them and get them on board that way. So whoever's closest is, yeah, who picks that one up.
And is that a bit similar to how the online shop works as well?
Yes. Do you want me to answer that one too? Yes, it is. So local shop orders that go to the different state groups, and then whoever's free or whoever's closest, just puts up their hand and bakes that for that order. So that's how that works.
Awesome. All right. So here's a good one. Is it really a collaborative sisterhood, or is it really bitchy and competitive? I made that question up, but I know people will be wondering. Who's going to answer that one? Manda, you can answer that one.
Yeah, it's horrible. We're just all complete cows that don't support
hate
each
these
other,
girls, really.
You know, yeah, exactly. So, honestly, you girls are my new family. Like, it's so beautiful getting the help and support from and I'm going to say older girls. What I mean is the girls that have been around longer. They've got all the tips and tricks. You know, I know when I first started, I asked what I thought were some of the most stupid questions, and people were like right onto it, from how to line my baking tin to the zucchini bread splurted or whatever, and everybody's onto it. And now I can help the girls that are coming in, because we've only 6 months under my belt, but I think I've had most of the problems that you're going to have. And yeah, it's just so supportive, so friendly, so help each other out. It's woman dominated, not male dominated. That's the difference.
Yeah. Awesome.
I can't think of any instances of bitchiness or competitiveness. I can't remember witnessing any or definitely not being any part of any.
And that's really interesting. You're in an interesting place, because I would say if we had like a concentration of Primalistas the most anywhere in the country or the world, it would be Perth, right? We've got more Primalistas and more stockists in Western Australia, which I think is purely because that's where the brand started, you know, and the word spread pretty quickly through this state, and then we went interstate. So, and you know, Rosie was an instigator. Well, she made it up that she 100% Rosie, because I don't know how to do spreadsheets very well at all, getting better. But Rosie set up the Target Stockist spreadsheet, which I showed you yesterday, which is basically a really simple Google Doc where everyone does the right hand talks to the left hand. So you would be in an area with the most concentrated Primalistas, right? But you've never come across any territorial behavior or any competition like that?
No. I would be lost without the other Primalistas around Perth. Like we we order ingredients together if you need to meet a minimum order. I've been sick a couple of times, and other ladies have picked up my orders that I couldn't bake. It'd be much harder. It'd be a lot harder actually without having the other girls around close by.
That's what Chicken said. I saw Chicken at the start of July. Yeah, anyway, and she said she would be lost without you and Shelley, like just for like ringing up for a few labels when she's run out of labels and stuff like that. Yeah,
little things like that. If you overlook something, there's someone that can help you if there's someone close by.
That's so good. What about you, Ash? Have you found it in Queensland?
Yeah, no, have not seen any sort of competitive behaviour, bitchiness, anything like that. Only friendliness, to be perfectly honest. And I wish I did have people closer to me for those exact reasons, for like, damn it, I don't have a label, or I've run out of bags, but I don't. So can we get some more, please?
Yeah, come on, Sunshine Coast sisters and Brisbane sisters.
Yeah.
We need, we need more people there. All right. Last question on my list is, can I make and sell things alongside Primal Alternative? It's a common question. Like we get asked that a lot on calls, right?
Yeah, I can answer that. You can make other things if you have the time, but there is a lot of Primal Alternative products, and they're all amazing. So I did used to make a couple of small things at the markets and sell. I used to sell some muffins at the markets. But that was way back before we had as many products, and I wouldn't have time to do that now. And the Primal Alternative products sell really well, so, and I love making them. I guess if there's something else that you really love making, and you've got the time for it, then you could, but there's no real need.
Ash?
Yeah, I've seen different ladies that have market stalls that either, have veggies or pantry items that they stock alongside the Primal Alternative products. So yeah, Helen makes it, very doable, and that's totally fine to have it, selling alongside Primal Alternative. So yeah, absolutely you can.
Mans?
Yeah, I agree completely. I think so long as what you're doing is complementary and not competing, against the main product. And I don't know if that's a rule of yours, Helen, or just like a sensible one. But like Rosie said, there's so much product. Like I wouldn't be baking a different type of cookie or something to take to a market. If anything, we make our own like flavored salts and things. I'd probably take them. But otherwise, stick with what we've got. Unless, like Ash says, you've got something already that you love to sell. And also, I don't know if we've mentioned, but customers pick up orders from markets as well. So it's a great opportunity to get some of your orders like delivered in that customers will come and pick up from you. So that's worth a little mention.
Perfect. Yeah, I always found like if I was going to do something extra for my stall, it was always like a stress. Like, oh, I haven't done those chia puddings, and yeah, and I never really tested the pricing and whether it was worth it and all of that. And then you never had the packaging for it, or the things to put it in, or what plate are you going to put it on. Yeah, and it was all just, it ended up being a headache. But so I wouldn't bother, but you can if you want to. And also quite interestingly, I I tried to turn the Primal Alternative shop into an all things primal, you know, with broths and broth pastes, and I can't remember what else we had in the store, but all sorts of other pantry items, and stocked them in a warehouse and bought them wholesale, and it just wasn't worth it. I ended up selling them all below cost to a local shop. So it can be sometimes just better to kind of stay in your lane and keep it simple, and get known really well for doing that is an idea. All right, so we're going to just wrap up now. So would love to go around, a final chance if anyone's got to ask any questions in the chat. If we haven't covered any, you know, anything at all, nothing's a stupid question. This is your chance. But I would love to go around to each of the Primalistas and just ask if you have anything else that you want to share with the amazing virtual open week sisters, and just to say what you would say to somebody who's sitting on the fence, who, you know, they've been following for a couple of years. What's your message to them? Rosie, start with you.
Well, we were talking about confidence earlier. And I was just thinking that if I look back over the last 4.5 years, my confidence now from when I started is, you know, I feel much more confident within myself. I feel like I know my worth. And that's from, you know, starting a business and growing it, and showing up, you know, every week, and also having the support of, you know, Helen and the other Primalistas. Yeah, I feel like I look back and I feel much more grounded in myself and much more, much more confident within myself. So I feel like if you're thinking about starting now, then, I mean, really, what's stopping you? Like, there's demand. It's doable. Like, it's a doable model. If there's something that's stopping you, then book a call and we'll talk about it.
Nice. Ash?
Yeah, same as Rosie. If you just keep coming back to it, just keep thinking about it, you know, just trust your gut and just jump in, because I know that I was one of those people that just kept reading over it, you know, kept thinking about it. And I wish I did it earlier, because, you know, time freedom, you know, family life, you know, it's all everything that I thought, but I wish I did it earlier. So yeah, definitely just trust your gut. And if it's something that you just keep coming back to, just, yeah, as Rosie said, just book a call and, you know, we can discuss anything that's on your mind then. So, but I know that you'll love it. We all do.
That's awesome. Go for it, Manda.
Yeah, so 4 years on the fence, waiting for the right moment instead of creating the right moment. So, like the money thing, I could have just asked somebody. And it's interesting because as soon as I told my in-laws that I was doing this business, they said, "Do you need the money?" And I was like, "Oh, I've done it myself." But I could have asked them like 4 years ago for a little loan, and been as confident and as in it as Rosie is now. Like, me and Rosie could have been, you know, the 4.5-year-old sisters.
Yeah.
Instead of me being the new kid on the block. So yeah, Helen, I think if everybody goes back over those videos, I've been listening to the last few days recordings at the most ridiculous times of day and night to catch up. It was 1:11 a.m. this morning when I switched off yesterday's recording.
Very auspicious.
It's like, 111.
Yeah.
Perfect. But if you go back over that and really look at your values and what you want, and who do you need to be to become a Primalista? Like, what changes do you need to make in yourself? What growth can you get from that? It's just, yeah, bloody amazing.
Love it. Love it.
Book a call.
And most of the people on this call have booked a call. So good, those people who book calls. It's so good. And it's nice you're getting to meet who you're going to be having your call with, right? Which is really cool too, because it's on the phone, so you don't get to see faces. So this is good. So Claudia is saying that she did some homework on a council and wants to email the document to anyone with questions attached. So yes, you can send that to me. I'm the council scrutineer. Good at council stuff. Ash will tell you a little story about that in a minute. But unfortunately, I don't know why I did this, but yeah, anyway, like I said at the beginning, I decided to update my website this week while we're having a big launch. It was a bad move because now we can't get onto the website and we can't send emails. So if you want to email that through, Claudia, send it to my primalhealthcoach@gmail.com email and I will actually get that. And I would love to look at that. I love looking at council stuff now. Ash, tell the story about what a legend I was with the Sunshine Coast Council, because that was a journey.
So legit legend, honestly. So when I joined up, I was the first on the coast to contact council to work from home. There was another lady here, but she wanted to do it from a commercial kitchen. So yeah, I was the first, and the council turned around and said, no, sorry, can't be done, cannot happen at all. And I wanted to get up and running quickly. So I hired a commercial space and did that to start with. But I contacted Helen and was like, I need some help. What do I do here? And then Helen jumped on board and she got in contact with head honcho, environmental health officer, had meetings with him and pretty much changed their mind on the whole model. And they finally said yes to me. So Helen, did all the hard groundwork there. So absolute legend, changing the council's mind on what actually can be done from home.
Yeah, it was so cool. And that was a time when I was very, very nervous. Do you remember about that? I was so nervous. We had a Zoom meeting with the team leader of the environmental health team at Sunshine Coast. I was so pooing myself because I really wanted it to work for you. I was like, oh my God, it's all on my shoulders. But it turned out great. And the bonus of it was that he basically helped to rewrite the food safety program, which was brilliant. So, I would normally pay someone to do that. So he did it. So that was great. Yeah, brilliant. So that's an interesting one, actually. And it is a question that Claudia asked somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it. Commercial kitchen space, it is an option. You don't have to do this from home. If you're somebody who would love the idea of leaving the house and going somewhere else and kind of having everything, going to work and having the separate spaces, you can do that too, right? And I was going to ask you, Ash, because I know you hired a kitchen. I guess what were the key things that you need to think about if you do want to do this in a commercial space?
Making sure that the kitchen has space so you can leave your ingredients there if that's what you want to do, because I was bringing it back and forth, which was a little bit hefty. But then, other things is just make sure that they've got, kitchens, bench space and all that sort of thing, and potentially try the oven before you start, because the oven that I had in the commercial space was a little bit odd, so I had to get used to it. But other than that, that's really all, I think. Yeah.
Cool. And for me, I would really focus on the cost. So I've seen there's quite a lot of commercial spaces now opening up as because I think quite a lot of people want to do similar businesses like this. But they're doing more your kind of full meal preps. That needs to be done in a commercial kitchen with higher risk stuff. But I've seen in Brisbane in particular, some of their places, it's an absolute rip-off, $300 a day and stuff. It just wouldn't work for this model. So if you do have a commercial kitchen space that you want to hire, feel free to on the call talk about the costs of that, and the Primalistas or I can help you work out if that would be viable or not. If you can get, I know people who can hire, the school canteen or the Scout Hall or the RSL or the CWA Hall. That's the kind of places you want to be going to, not these commercial fancy pants places, that you can hire a hall for $10 an hour or something, or $50 a session is the kind of, that would work. But those fancy places, forget it. You'll be paying to be in business, which is
yeah, no, definitely. There was a few that I contacted that were outrageous, and I was like, oh, definitely not.
I know. Who are the people that cook in these places? I guess it must be massive, Uber Eats kind of operators who've got, a team of people pumping stuff out. I don't know. But anyway, anything anybody else wants to add or questions before we wrap up the session?
I'd just like to say that the experience that Ash had with council is it's not typical. That you know, most people are pretty straightforward. I've moved house twice. Yeah, so I've been through 2 different councils and it's been straightforward.
Good. Yeah, good point. Yeah, it is. For like 8 out of 10 Primalistas, it's just like, yeah, tick, done. And then the other 2 out of that 10, they might get an initial no, and that's quite common. And it really is like this. It was exactly the same with the Sunshine Coast Council. They don't really understand what we're doing. You know, like you're making bread out of hemp seeds. Are hemp seeds legal, Carol? You know, it's a bit like that. You know, they don't really know. And coconut oil, what is this stuff? It's not a cake. It's not a bread. I don't know. Too hard? No, you can't. Get off my desk, you know, but we need to just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Yeah, and, you know, you don't have to do that on your own. There's actually a Primalista on the Sunshine Coast. Chrissy is having trouble with Sunshine Coast Council. I'm like, what? You need to speak to my mate, Craig Kelly, and get this thing sorted out. So, yeah, so we're WhatsApping each other and I'm helping her with that. So, yeah, but, you know, just set the intention that your approvals are going to be easy peasy. All right. So let's go back to the share. All right. Back to boring old slides with boring old H now. Can't seem to move people. I don't know if you can see where the people are. Anyway, all right. So I think we've answered most of those questions. I can't, the line of people there. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go through these questions. We've asked that. Just wanted to touch on earnings because I didn't add Manda's earnings. So the Primalistas have been really open and honest. And just this week, I've emailed me because we don't do sales reporting, right? Which is good because sales reporting is really boring. But they have, they've provided their sales figures so that you can get a feel of what's possible. So this is what the model was essentially built on. This is what the sort of amount of baking that I used to do 2 mornings a week. Today's price is about $1,200 worth of product. And this would earn you $655.30 gross profit. We're about to have a price rise, a small 3% price rise from the 1st of September, which isn't because of ingredients prices going up. It's just incremental cost. You know, cost of goods does go up over time, and so we follow that and increase our prices a little bit every couple of years. So we were due one at the start of the year anyway. So that's something good to know. So the Primalista is saying the cost of ingredients hasn't gone up, which just means the profit margins will be still very viable and maybe even better than they are on this tile here. So let's just run through those earnings again, because I just really want to celebrate what these women have done with this amazing model. So Rosie's in her 5th year. Her business has grown year on year. She's currently this year sitting on $75,000 turnover, of which her profit is about 55%. Well, it is 55%, which is good because that's what I say it is. So it's always good to double check. And she bakes for about 3.5 days a week. Ash is in her 2nd year. She could be in her 4th year as well, if y'all just jumped on board when you wanted to. Her business is turning over 54,000 and she bakes 3 days a week. Well done, Ash. Great numbers. And, you know, this is yes, you know, it's great. I've created this amazing model. It's wonderful. It's replicable. I love looking. I saw the order that Manda did that went out to, who did it go out to? I've forgotten her name now off the top of my head. Manda might remember. Christine. Yeah. Christine ordered on the shop. Manda's got that out to her this week. Brilliant turnaround. And I look at the products and I'm always like, oh my God, everything looks exactly the same as it does in this state, in South Australia. I mean, I've been around all the states. I've had chocolate chip cookies in every single state and they all taste the same. So it's amazing. So that's great. But it's down to the application of these Primalistas who've taken this model, baked the products, gone out and knocked on doors, got sales and kept following up. So I'm feeling so emotional. Well done, Ash. Really brilliant. All right, Manda, I didn't know what to do with these numbers that you sent to me. I did try and make a graph. But that's why I didn't put them in the other day, because I wanted to have a chart that, you know, showed when she started her first month, $371. And now 6 months later, $4,252, which was, like you say, it was a brilliant bump a month. but I couldn't get the graph to work. So I thought, look, this is good. And I like how you've included, the stockist orders and how that was 3, and then it was 5, then it was 4, then it was 8, kind of shows the little ebb and flow. But these numbers are very good, very sort of on par with, with Ash and Rosie too. So go you. So it's very exciting to see how quickly, I like that because it shows how quickly you can go from there to there. And even, you can even be sooner as well. You can get, I think back to Shah when she was saying she had 100 products in the first order from one stockist, like, whoa, that would be more than what's on that little infographic, which is incredible. So we are going to look here at what's happening tomorrow. So tomorrow is our final day. It's going to be such a wonderful event because we're going to pretty much just recap what we've covered in this week journey together and what to do now. Like, we've all hung out in this lovely space, and now we have to go separate ways, or not if you decide to come into the Primalist realm. But I'm going to reveal tomorrow the ultimate tip that is going to get you from where you were on Monday to where these girls are now and what they're doing now. All right. So you've already set your intention on Monday. So join me tomorrow. Hang on a minute. Yeah. So join me tomorrow to find out what that is and how we're going to wrap it all up. So your homework for today is to take our invitation to book a free 30-minute Primalista call. We're the Dream Team Calls team. Love hanging out with these women when managing diaries together and calls together. And we're going to reveal on the call how you can save $1,500 off your membership, up to $1,500, and run through pretty much your why with you. Check out availability of stockists in your area, and just really, I know you've done a lot of work yourself this week, but really fine tune and tick the boxes to make sure this is going to be a goer for you. This is the link again, primalalternative.com/call. Don't forget, is that the end of my presentation? I don't know how many. Oh yeah. Don't know how many slides I've got left. So yeah, and it says book before the September the 14th, because that's when the Primalista Mentor program starts. I'll talk a little bit more about what's in that again tomorrow. So we're going to go to our yummy prize winner, and it won't be a Primalista. Sorry, Primalistas. You can't win anything. You can just go and bake it your bloody self. All right. So with Claudia, you were our Monday winner, which is great. Julianne, you were our Tuesday winner. Is that right? And then yesterday it was Michaela or Mickey, and I know she's here. I've seen her somewhere. She works there she is, Michaela's iPhone 5. Hi, Mickey. She's giving us a wave. So I won't choose from you three already because you've already had a prize. So our lucky winner today is, it's Lisa Marie Chamberlain. Congrats, Lisa. You're the winner today. Oh, that's a good question. Claudia's got a quick question, at the end, last 5 minutes question. Do you all use a Thermomix? Rosie uses a KitchenAid. What do you use, Ash? Where have they gone? I've lost them. There they are. What do you use, Ash?
Yeah, I have a Thermomix. I didn't buy it for the business. I just had it previous to it. So that's just what I use. Perfect.
And what about you, Manda? What do you use?
I got a not Thermomix, but like a similar competitor one. If I was going to replace it, I'd replace it with a Thermi, just for ease of handling. Mine's got, anyway, it doesn't matter, but it was a bit cheaper, and you can tell. However, a lot of the stuff now, I'm actually mixing by hand. So I'm using it to grate the stuff, but then I just pop it in a bowl and mix it because I can never get it all out from underneath the blades. And it's just easier. So yeah, even the fruit toast, it's tough. Like, you need a little bit of work on it. It's like stirring your
it's good for your biceps.
Christmas pudding.
Yeah.
Takes me back to my nana and the Christmas pudding. But yeah, Helen said at the beginning, don't buy one you don't need it, keep it cheap. lean startup. And I was like, no, I'm going to buy one because I want to. But yeah,
Should listen
stand
to
mixer
it.
and a food processor. I know. Yeah, got one, don't need it.
Yeah. And, you know, Primalistas have done this with a bowl and a spoon. Like if you want to be old school, you can. Personally, it would give me too much neck pain. Or electric mixers you can do, and just silver bowls. You can get them cheap as from like those $15 Sunbeam mixers. But yeah, essentially mix with whatever you make cakes with now. Whatever you use for that now, just use that. And then if I was going to be buying something, I mean, I love my Thermomix. I've got 2 and I've got 3 bowls and they're always in use. But if I was going to start again as a Primalista, I would get a 4-litre capacity KitchenAid like Rosie's got, because they cream the butter much better for the cookies, and you can double batch. So like in one batch recipe, you would be able to get 4 loaves of bread out, 2 rounds of cookies, which would be 12 packets.
60. Yeah, 12 packets.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been in the kitchen.
Do you know
All
what,
right.
the thing that I'd spend money on, just quickly,
Yeah.
the thing that I'd spend money on is a decent pair of kitchen scales. And
Oh, yeah.
the $30 ones that you referred to are fine. But I had some real issues at the beginning with not getting the weights quite right. And have a spare set of batteries
Yeah.
for your kitchen scales.
Yeah, don't use your
That's-
Thermomix scales, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Because that's how I started with mine. And then I found that the bread was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, wow, what's my fridge is this big now? And then I realized my scales were like 20% out on the Thermomix. So don't do that. Yeah. Bravo. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. It's been amazing. A special thanks to Primalista Rosie in Western Australia. Special thanks to Ash in Queensland and Manda on the Gold Coast. It's been a total buzz hanging out with you all. I'm now going to go and lie actually in the sun. It's sunny today, not as freezing as it was yesterday. We're all freezing yesterday in Adelaide and Tassie and WA. So thanks so much. I'll be buzzing for about a week after this. Yeah, thanks for all your time and your energy. And we look forward to talking to you more on a call.